Hi, and welcome to this very special episode of Sass and Sips. Today, we're going to talk about season 6, episodes 17 and 18. The end. We made it all.
Hallelujah.
Oh, stop it. I'm Lisa. I'm the one who likes Lost.
Because they didn't know. They couldn't
No.
tell.
They're just joining us now for the last episode. It's a party. I'm drinking this very special bottle of wine that Brittany gave me for Christmas.
Hi, Brittany
Actually, she
Wine.
gave me 2 bottles, but
Oh, she
we
loves
didn't.
you.
Her and I didn't finish this one.
I
So
don't know. I'm impressed or disappointed.
Well, she had
She
to
had to
drive,
drive.
and it had snowed that day, so
Okay, fair
I did
enough.
the responsible thing.
That's the only reason I'm allowing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a sleepover. 2 balls
Oh, no,
could have been gone in
We would
like
have drank
2.2
both.
seconds. Yeah, okay.
Oh no, it was wonderful. Can I tell you? It was just me and her and the dog, and a bottle of wine, and we ordered a pizza, and we just put the pizza right in on the couch, right in between us, and we just did what girls do. Like, we just caught up and had just like a really quiet, intimate, happy evening.
Those are the best. I
Low key,
remember.
very low key.
For our mutual friend, I don't know if she wants her name on the air. I don't think she cares. But our mutual friend, it was her 40th. And I went back to New York for her 40th.
Oh, this is not now. I was like,
no. You're like,
do
wait,
tell.
when did I hit 40? No. And
I'm
her husband
40?
was like, aren't you guys going to do something? You go to the city, go do what? We had in her bed snacks fucking galore. We've done that. You and I have done that.
Yeah.
And he's just looking at us like, you guys don't want to go out? We're like, no.
There's people out there.
It's very people-y.
You end up licking elbows and shit.
We ended up watching The Spy the Spy Who Dumped Me with Mila Kunis. It's a comedy. It's hysterical. And all through the movie, we're like, they owe us money. That's us. It was just hysterical. Anyway, but her husband was just like, I don't get it. We were like, and that's why you're a man. Bed, snacks,
Well, that
TV,
too.
alcohol is what else do you need? Animals.
Introduce yourself.
I'm sorry. I was so excited about your Britney time.
Oh, thank you.
I'm Agnes, and I'm drinking Stella Rossi peach little drink, and I put my frozen mangoes in it. I started earlier, and it had pineapple juice in it, but as I topped it off, it had no more. I would top it off with the wine, so now it's just mango and the Stella Rossi peach. Is it Rossi or Rossi?
I don't know. I don't drink that shit. Cheers.
Cheers. Clink, clink. I need everyone to see to my left, behind me, is the winning gingerbread house for my family contest. Ooh, this is not my best work. Thank you. So.
Okay, so we are recording
takes?
this.
Oh.
Obviously, you guys know we took a little break for the holidays because we're moms, so stuff.
And grandmas.
Oh, yeah, because grandmas. Yayas.
Yayas.
So, you guys got a subscription episode, and we hope you enjoyed it, but we're back for the end. And Merry Christmas, Happy everything.
Hanukkah. I don't know when is this airing?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, Hanukkah has passed or in the midst of, depending on when we air.
I said happy everything.
I know, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm so excited with the holidays.
Too.
Kwanzaa. I'm so excited. See?
So, forgive me if I go incoherent.
And forgive me if I go off in tangents.
Forgive me if I go astray. Ooh. But life is just a party. All right, I'm sorry.
I have a very important question for our listeners.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a holiday in the holidays or is begin? I don't know. Let me the holidays. Very important question. Text us your answers. When does the tree come down
Oh.
in your family? When does the tree
Mhm.
come down? Lisa, when did your tree come down?
Whenever the fuck we get around to it. Well, we leave it up till after Three Kings Day, but then it's like after that, it's
When I have a chance to.
whenever we get to it. Yeah.
Same. It needs to stay up to Epiphany. And then after that, it's
Shut your phone off. Excuse me,
sorry.
ladies and gentlemen. Please silence all devices.
Okay, to be fair, it's on do not
Uh-oh.
disturb. And then the exceptions, my daughter and Lisa. And I'm on recording with Lisa.
Yeah,
So
and your daughter texts you all the time, so you should know it's always gonna ring.
um yeah, it does. But the one time I'm always afraid the one time I don't answer it, it's something important. That's my biggest fear. And my daughter's not the type to like call. She'll just text.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh yeah, I cut my hand off." Like she'd be like,
By the way,
"Right, that's a phone call." Yeah, so I'm, yeah. Um,
ooh, ah.
oh, so welcome to our final episode of season 1 that took us 6 years to record.
But is it the final episode? You know, now we're gonna do all the chronological order. Watch.
I quit. I
No, no, no,
quit.
but for real, there is one more episode.
It's the final episode of the series.
It's the
Yes.
one that I've never seen. So we're gonna watch that one together.
You've never seen this one?
No, 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 no. There's one after this. I'm not even joking right now.
You didn't see it?
I've never seen it because it was only like on the web or something.
Oh, what?
The new man in charge. All right, we'll talk about
Lost?
it later. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm just Agnes is lost and lost. Okay,
Well, that's nothing new, but
you're
all
not
right,
wrong.
so we watched the end. We made it. You made it. I want all the hot takes. Give me the hot takes.
Please
I
don't
don't
do
know.
that. No.
Why you like it, baby?
Come here, you drive me crazy. I actually I actually liked it. I know there was apparently there was some contention. There's the I liked it. There was like the I loved it and the I hated people. I liked it. I loved it. I was happy with it. I was very happy with it. And of course I have my opinions and Lisa goes, "But is it?" I'm like, "Shut up, Lisa."
What did I
So
say that in reference to?
I'm not telling you that.
Fine.
But yeah,
You
she
liked it. What part
gaslighted
did
me
you like? What
that I was right.
and what were you right about?
Good night, Lisa.
Oh,
I liked
no.
it
Oh, we're gonna
because
go all the way down this rabbit hole.
going down any rabbit holes with you.
Yeah,
I'm not drunk enough.
we're already at the door. Come on.
I only got one more bottle. I got a bottle of Moscato in there, and that's it. I don't know if I have time to go down the rabbit hole with you. I need a
You
case of
got time.
alcohol. I need a
You got
case
time.
of um I
What
forgot what I
did
was gonna
you
say.
you
What
said
oh yeah, what I
you
liked about
liked
it.
it because you were right, and I
I
asked
was
you what you
right.
were right about.
I also liked it because I feel like for the
Avoid
most part, I know I'm not going to. It it wrapped up a lot of things for the most part. And the things that they didn't, I don't right now I can't think of them, but I'm sure there's answers that weren't questions that weren't answered. But sometimes at the end of a show, I don't want everything in the bow because that way in your head, certain
Mhm.
character like it goes on in TV land. They continue living their TV characters or whatever the case may be. So I'm okay with that. I think the people who want everything wrapped up in a neat bow and that everything's answered they need a little imagination.
Yeah,
That's
but
it.
you said that you were right, and I'm asking what you were right about.
I don't want to talk to you about this because I want to start doubting myself. And I've got to the point in my old age where I don't question my opinions anymore, except when talking to you. I I need to just go to therapy after
Yeah,
conversations with you.
but the listeners have been waiting for this moment. They want to cheer you or laugh at you.
You wanna laugh at me. I don't like that.
Okay, come on.
I thought they were dead. I still think they're dead. At the end, they all went to happy, happy. They went Christian Slater. Christian
They
Shep.
went to Christian Slater.
No, that is the Dexter prequel. Christian Slater's in that one. Okay. They went to like the door and he went to
They
the light
moved
shop.
on.
They moved on.
Okay.
So they know.
So you just think that they were dead the whole time from when they
Now,
crashed
to
on the island.
to be honest, remember when I said I watched the episode and the whole night I didn't sleep, like I dreamt of the show. Can you ever been like in and out of sleep? Kind of like, not, and if you're thinking about something, it becomes part of a dream or something like fucking Lisa, I hate you. So I kind of semi dreamt of my talking points. And I was trying to figure out when did I think they died? And I just couldn't pinpoint when. Did they die during the crash? Did they die when they try to come back from the freighter? Like, when did they die? And I'm like, I'm thinking they were dead the whole time, but that doesn't make sense with people. Yeah, because I don't know. I couldn't place when I thought they died, but I just know I know the flash sideways, they were definitely dead. That, and I thought about that like the moment we had that, I'm like, someone's dead. I don't know which one is dead, but one of them they're dead. I just didn't know which parallel universe it was. I'm still kind of, I don't know. I hate you and your shit eating grin. I mean, I said that as she was drinking intentionally because I'm a bitch.
I'm taking a new computer out of your salary if I do a spit take.
Considering I don't have a salary,
I know
good
I'm
luck.
gonna have to go draw myself a picture. Here's my new computer.
Yeah, we were
Like my
recording
picture.
via phone going forward. Please forgive the the sound quality.
Do you have any other hot takes before we get started?
Considering I watched it like a week and a half.
Well, that's why I had to rewatch it before we recorded.
I was very busy watching TikTok, okay?
Well, okay.
I'm ready to go. Let's do this. Because if I get through this glass, I'm gonna have to open up the Moscato. And
Okay.
this is a 2-episode recording. I'm gonna have to get the Moscato.
Okay. The opening scene flashes on our characters. Jack, then Locke, then Sawyer, then Kate, then Hurley. The scenes go back and forth between Flash sideways and on island, all while being interspersed with scenes of the coffin making its way from the plane to Desmond, receiving it at the church. And then here we get another like cheeky dig at Desmond being the figurehead. The guy who brings the coffin asks if Desmond works here or something, and Desmond's like, or
I'm
something.
something.
He gets back into the car with Kate, and she laughs at the dead guy's name because his name is Christian Shephard. Which honestly, we all laugh. Like, I mean, it's just so on the nose. Desmond tells Kate, no one can tell you why you're here. He says that he's her friend and he wants to leave. On the island, Jack is standing ankle deep in the water, and Sawyer wants to know what just happened. Jack is the new Jacob, but he doesn't feel any different. Sawyer goes to find Desmond, but cracks a joke at Kate saying that he'd ask her along, but then it would take all the fun out of her following anyway. Although her doing that in the flash sideways comes in handy.
Yeah,
I mean, it usually does come in handy, but
right. Because women, we know things, damn it. We're
off
useful.
island, we're at the motel with Hurley and Saeed. Hurley sees Charlie, and when Charlie opens the door, Hurley has like the only Kool-Aid smile on his face. It is just like so imagine like, they had like this whole on island bromance and it was beautiful. But imagine, I guess, how it would feel in real life if
You
you
saw
had a
someone.
friend that you were reacquainted with after something devastating or a very long time, and your friend has no fucking idea who you are, so you can't just like run up and give them a hug and, have that connection.
Well,
Must be
if we're ever in that situation, we have to. I just lick your elbow, and then you will know instantly. you could. I gotta stop talking because you're going. You're not gonna stop drinking,
either that or I have to stop drinking.
and that's not gonna happen.
I'm here for the party.
I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Mhm. And parties weren't meant to last, so
This is very like I can. I know where you're going, but it's kind of like you're bumming me out, bitch.
it's a song.
I know. I said I know you're
Oh.
going with it, but it's still like okay, that's a little depressing, you know.
I mean, that song is not depressing. I mean, he's
Considering
depressing.
Charlie, and it just kind of like
Well,
yeah, in context, it's a little depressing. Drink
okay, I'm
more,
sorry.
switch up, maybe try different wine.
I'm sorry. Did you get teary-eyed throughout this episode?
Oh, that's another thing I forgot to tell you. I fucking hate you, Lisa. Lisa's been trying for 6 seasons to get me to cry. She's like, "This episode's a real hard one. You're gonna, is this a tough one?" I'm like, "Eh." She's like, "The fuck is wrong with you?" Um, every single time someone realized, every time they had that moment where they're like, I cried. I didn't tear. I bawled every time someone
Yeah.
remembered. Oh, look.
Every time I watch this episode, it's the same.
So yeah, finally Lisa got me to actually cry. And she didn't give me a fucking warning either.
'Cause you don't like my warnings, and I guess I only know if you have feelings, so I just can't count on you to be upset anymore.
I
Like,
have
I don't know, this
feelings.
bitch ain't got no feelings.
I
Fuck
have,
her.
but didn't you just tell me I'm just way too nice?
Let it be a surprise.
Love you. Mhm. Okay, I can't do anything. I'm going to turn my camera off because if I keep doing shit, Lisa's going to like ruin her computer.
Okay, what have I always said about you? I say you're too nice.
But I'm superficially nice.
There it is. Yeah,
You don't know. This bitch was
that's
pissed
why
at
you
me.
need to stop.
She was pissed at me. She's like, "Why are you being so nice?" I'm like, "Yeah, I might be nice, but I know people suck. So I'm not disappointed when they suck."
I'm not saying to be rude, I'm saying just don't be nice. Be a fucking New Yorker.
But
Damn it.
even in New York,
You see
I
what
was nice to
happens?
people. Okay,
You see? No, you went to the fucking Midwest and now you're all
okay.
like,
So can I just say
"Hello.
something?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
yeah." Okay,
okay, okay. What are you smoking?
I don't know.
You're not sharing. Okay, so
Over.
part of it is part of it. And even when I was in New York, when it came to service people working in service, I was always super nice to them because I worked with people. And I would always get the people that came in a bad mood for whatever reason and want to take it out. So I always made it a point to be super nice to people who worked in service until they didn't deserve it. And that was a whole different ball of wax. So, and I know, and I've had experiences where I was nice to a customer who was really bitchy, and they're like, "I'm sorry." And then I had a couple that, you know what, I'm having a bad day and I'm sorry. You made it better. I've actually had that happen. So I try to give out what I was given. So
Okay.
Being nice got me bobby pins and a scrunchie from a bartender, brand new ones.
Being a bitch got me my husband.
Like I said, I got bobby pins and a scrunchie.
I'm
I
telling him you said that.
I think I won that one.
Right.
The pizzeria made me a pizza that they don't normally make, but they made it for me because I was like, "Hey," they're like, "Oh, sure." Over a man? Pizza always over a man. I'm sorry.
I mean, a man who tickles my heart.
Okay, you got that one. And I he
Uh,
oh my god. Lisa's not lying. And I'm like, and I'm not telling you how I knew. No one would believe me anyway.
all right, we gotta talk about this episode. On island, Jack says he took the job as protector because he was, quote, supposed to. And Sawyer heads off to the Loch Ben camp looking for Desmond. When he finds them, he beats Ben and informs Locke about Jack's new job. Meanwhile, Desmond is waking up at Rose and Bernard's camp. Oh, I'm sorry, and Vincent's camp.
Don't forget
They
Vincent.
fix him up. What?
I said, you can't forget Vincent.
No. They fix him up and attempt to send him on his way because they don't get involved. Bernard goes to check his trap so they can have a lovely fish breakfast, but the only thing he caught was a case of the snitch. Ben and Locke come and get Desmond, and as they're walking, Ben's walkie-talkie goes off, and it's Miles announcing that he found Richard. In the flash sideways, Miles calls Sawyer to tell him that he just saw Sayid at the concert, so he tells Sawyer to head to the hospital to check on Son. Meanwhile, Son at the hospital is getting a doctor for the baby, and who is it? Look, he got the only Kool-Aid smile. Are you getting teary-eyed?
No,
Or are you just recovering from our laughing fit that we edited out?
yes.
Okay. She does the ultrasound, and Son starts to remember. Then Jin remembers. We see the flashes from the beginning of their on-island story to the end, and then that was it. Cue the tears.
I can't stand it.
Yeah.
There are certain reasons why I think they were dead from the beginning. Because I like their memories, like some of their memories started like from all their memories, I think had moments of the beginning, if I'm not mistaken, like flashes of the beginning. And for some reason, I feel like, I don't know. Okay, so now, no, actually, as I'm saying it out loud, I don't know now. Continue.
Okay.
My opinion of that question, because I still want to know, I kind of want to know like when did they die? I know they died. I just want to know
Mhm.
when. So I think maybe as you're talking, like watching it is one thing. Hear someone read it may bring something else. So I'm
Okay.
question: is there an answer to that question, or is this just subjective?
There is an answer.
Okay, thank you. I feel better because if it was subjective, I was just stop. I would have left it alone. I would have been happy with that. But if it's actually an answer I don't know, it's gonna piss me the fuck off.
Okay. Sawyer meets back up with the group to inform them that Desmond is out of the well, and the group treks. In the flash sideways, Jack talks with Locke pre-op, and Locke asks if he's sure it's gonna work, and Jack says yes, but there's always a chance he could kill him. And then it's ha ha because we have a second half of the episode to watch. We see Richard and Miles at the dock, noting that there's a hell of a storm coming, and Miles notices that Richard has his first gray hair.
And he's so happy about it.
Because remember, he doesn't age.
Now he can't. He's like, oh God, there's an end. And honestly, I feel that though.
They row through the submarine debris and they find Frank alive. And oh, how lucky that now they have a pilot to fly the plane that they were going to head off to.
So glad he's not dead.
Mhm. So you thought Richard and Frank were dead.
Well, Richard, I didn't know because I'm like, because I did ask. I was like,
Mhm.
has anyone like for some reason I didn't think he
But
was.
you said right, and then you were saying something like,
No
"Oh,
one's
but the
ever,
monster the monster
no
has
one's
never left
ever
anyone."
survived that. But I don't think like in my heart, I'm like, I don't want him to like. I didn't like. I needed him to. I needed him at the end. I needed him to continue to the end.
Mhm.
And I don't know if I would have asked that question with anyone else. You know what? That makes
Yeah.
sense. So yeah,
The main group then meets up with Locke, and Jack says they're gonna go with him because he's gonna kill him, but it's gonna be a surprise. Could you imagine somebody's like, "I'm gonna kill you, but it's gonna be a surprise." Okay, come on now, let's go. In the flash sideways, we find out that Juliet happens to be Jack's ex and their son, and his son is their son.
that was a surprise. That I was not expecting that. I was like, oh, plot twist.
And then as Juliet is leaving, she passes Sawyer, who's coming out of the elevator.
I was like, any minute now.
Jack says that he plans to use Desmond as a surprise, and Sawyer makes a joke about a long con, which is ironic since that was
Because
one of his
yes,
episodes.
episodes.
As they get closer to the waterfall, they decide that it's only going to be Jack, Locke, and Desmond. And Locke notes that it's going to be a bad storm. Desmond tells Jack that it doesn't matter. Like, all of this doesn't matter. They can all go to a place where they never have to think of the island again and where they can all be with their loved ones. Did you understand what Desmond was referring to? Or at least in the aftermath of seeing the episode?
That was one of my clues. At the moment, I'm like, they're dead, they're dead. Like in my head, I was just, so everything is kind of falling into place
Okay.
for me. So I'm like, it was one of the things I was like, is that what it is? Or am I reading too much into it? After fact, I'm like, yeah, it made total sense.
They tie a rope around Desmond and send him off into the cavern. In the sideways, Hurley brings Saeed to a dark alley. And he's like, "We're gonna do something, but I'm not to say why because of the rules." All of a sudden, they notice a fight, and after hearing a woman's voice, Saeed jumps out of the car to break it up. And it's Shannon. And as he helps her up, they remember. Meanwhile, Boone is at the Hummer talking to Hurley.
I all of this, like everyone coming back and on it. He's like, it took you long enough. Like all of it was just like, oh, I love this. It was
Mhm.
it was just it was just another puzzle piece into the perfect series finale for me. Like every scene, every I can't stand it. I love it.
I have a question though, and I want to ask it now because if I wait, I might forget it.
Okay.
You think that they're dead. That's your understanding. And then in the flash sideways, they're also dead.
Okay. In the flash sideways. Okay. So do I think they're parallel
Mhm.
and I think they're dead on both as I'm watching it. I think they're dead in both things.
So the two are not connected.
I don't I don't know. I don't because I know every time Jack got hurt in one, he was hurt. Okay, I don't know because I feel like okay. First of all, if they're dead, let's say the flats, the side. What is it called again? I can never get it right.
The flash sideways?
Flash sideways. Why can I never remember that? So there's no sense of time in that. Like in the flash sideways, I think that they're dead. They're definitely there. That's like their purgatory. They're waiting to come to terms with death. I think they're dead. So there's no sense of time, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Like so, it's not connected in sense that's happening at the same time. I'm thinking as things are happening, like, you um, I'm just saying, if you in your 30s, you have a surgery and it's a scar, in death, you're gonna have that scar appear, whatever. Like, there's no sense of time, so it's not if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So I think that's why Jack was like, "Oh, wait, I'm getting a cut here," or I'm getting like, as it was happening on the island because it's happened. You know what I mean? Is that making sense? Please tell
I
me it's
think I
making
understand what you're
sense.
saying.
Right, because, it's not happening at the same time, it's just that he's already dead in LA. Let's just say LA. Thank you.
Like, if I die, because I don't know if I'm going to. I
Right,
haven't
because
decided, but I'll still have a scar on my ankle.
right, but
Okay.
as we're viewing this, you're like, "Oh, wait, there's a yeah, so I think when things happen between the 2, it's kinda hard to tell because there's no sense of time in death and purgatory, it's just I think that's kind of what's fucking not fuckers, was just confusing for the viewers, kind of fucking us up a little bit intentionally. Um, yeah, that's my thought. So I don't know. I don't think there's a connection, but it's not a linear connection.
Okay.
Okay. Does that make sense? Because it's in my head, but I can't get it out in
I think I
words.
understand what you're saying.
Okay.
As Jack and Locke lower Desmond into over the waterfall into the cavern, Locke asks if it reminds him of anything. He says if there was a button down there, we could fight about pushing it. But Jack says, "You, sir, are no John Locke, and you disrespect his memory by wearing his face." Such a great line, though.
No, it kind of is. I
You
just want to know why
disrespect
did he
his memory.
after okay, after everyone know he wasn't Locke, why did he continue to be Locke?
I think that
Because he could appear to be himself. He did with Richard's mother or Richard. You know that
you know
with
what? I
with
okay, so
Richard,
you just threw a wrench in my plan because
not Richard's mother. I meant Richard. Like when they got
no, 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 hold on a second. Because I never thought about this before, but I'm thinking my understanding is that in order for him to appear as someone, and in this case, John Locke, he needs the body. So, no, but that's not true because you're right. He appeared to Richard as his wife, and his wife was never on the island.
and then after that
So that can't be.
he was his original self.
Yeah, but
He
he
came
was. Oh no,
he
he wasn't still alive.
no, he wasn't. He was already a smoke monster by then.
So yeah, I don't know.
I guess it's a way to keep Terry O'Quinn in the show too, though. So there's that.
That's
Maybe it's just
probably
as
the right answer.
maybe it's just as simple as that. Like, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
but we caught you, writers. We caught. You missed it. Okay. From a person
In
who
this,
hated the show, I am
I know.
pretty good. I pay attention. You
At
pay me
the
enough.
Flash Sideways concert, Juliet takes a call, and Claire is seated with Kate and Desmond. Charlotte, meanwhile, is waking up a drugged Charlie and then asks Daniel, who's not Faraday in this timeline, where the band is. He's so freaking adorable, though. He turns around and he looks at her and he's like, stars in his eyes. Like,
Okay, to be fair, sometimes it happens like that though.
okay.
Says the perpetually single woman, but it does happen it's happened to me in my past. It does happen. Lisa's like, holy shit. This is a
I lost
side
my place.
conversation.
No, no, I
Oh,
lost my place. As the band is playing, Charlie sees Claire in the audience and he's staring at her and she's so cute. She's like looking behind her, like, who? Him? Like,
like us
and then
doing
she
the
goes,
last convention.
yeah. And then she's going into labor because, of course. Back on the island, Desmond is now at the bottom where there's bones and a magical pool of light. He begins screaming as soon as he steps into the water, and he lifts the giant rock from the center, and then the magnetic hum slows, the water drains, and a loud rumbling grows. Everything on the island begins shaking. Jack hits Locke, and Locke bleeds. Even though it's fake Locke, he bleeds. Which is funny because a couple of scenes before this, Kate shoots at him, and the bullets are like nothing. Like not even holes in his shirt. And he's like, you might want to save some of those bullets.
Boo. I
And
like
so
them
now
now.
we see, right, before he was bulletproof, and now he's bleeding from a hit. But Locke hits Jack with a rock, and then he heads off towards his cliff.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just remembered another question I had. Like as you're talking, I remember everything I had, like stuff I had.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were dead for the moment they crashed. And because of this question, this is why I think they were dead. I had to
Noted.
say it now before I forget it.
What question?
Not a question, but a point. You do you want my point now? Or you want to wait?
Yeah, give it to me now because I'm not gonna remember.
Okay. Um
You talk, I pour.
oh, here's my glass. At the end, obviously Aaron was at the church with them. So that's so is to believe that he died also, or he was dead also, which means, and he was born on the island after the crash. So they were dead the moment they crashed.
But if they died the moment they crashed, and Aaron never would have been born.
Right. It never, another,
Oh, so none
like,
of the on island stuff happened.
right. It's all like after death. Like the island happened, but like they were already dead. It's another form of like purgatory in the waiting area. Like maybe the island was purgatory and LA was like the waiting area or whatever the case may be. I don't know how you want to break that up. And that also explains why I was so pissed that Son and Kate, like, you left your kids to go back to a fucking island. Who does that? They never existed. Aaron never existed because he's already island dead. Son and them never made it off the island. They never existed. Just like Jack's son never existed because it never happened. Because obviously it's a different. No. So that is why in my head, right, wrong, or indifferent, that is why I think they were dead in the moment the plane landed. I mean, crashed. And everything was just
Make believe.
flashes of them going through the process
So
of
this was like Beetlejuice TV.
I'm thinking it's more like them their souls coming to terms with them being dead.
Okay. At the concert, Eloise sits down next to Desmond and chides him for not stopping like he was supposed to. Are you raising your hand?
I was doing this. This is the point where I
Oh,
knew. I was like, this is it. This is when I was like, aha, aha.
and he says, it was perfectly clear and I chose to ignore you. She wants to know what happens when they know, and he says they're leaving. She wants to know if he's taking her son.
And that's how I knew. That's when I was like, aha, aha.
But he says no, he's not taking her son.
He said he's not going with me.
Oh, well, yeah. That's what I fucking said. He's not taking him. Now, lucky for Claire, Kate always tags along uninvited and finds Claire and helps her. Charlie arrives to help, and as Kate assists Claire, she remembers. When Aaron is given to Claire, she remembers. Charlie comes back with blankets, and Kate thanks him, but even as the viewer, you can tell that it's not for the blankets, and Charlie is like, he's so confused, he's like, "It's just blankets." But Kate says, "No, give them to her." And as Charlie gives them to Claire, he remembers. After that really just sweet moment, then Desmond arrives, and he asks Kate if she understands. Back at the island, the tremors are getting worse, and a tree falls on Ben. The group so Jack is still down there. Well, no, sorry, Jack is not still down there. Desmond is still down there, and Jack is calling to Desmond, but Desmond's not answering. The group tries to rescue Ben, which is funny since earlier in the episode, Sawyer was doing karate on him.
Well, the relationships are multifaceted,
Very complicated.
very complicated.
When you look at their profile page for Sawyer and Ben, it's going to say it's complicated.
It's complicated. Relationship status is complicated.
Mhm.
Uh,
I mean, if this is not complicated because Ben and apparently purgatory and being dead, I don't know what is.
well, Ben in anything is good. Ben
Mm.
in himself, he's complicated. He's just the epitome of complication.
Miles calls in the walkie-talkie to advise that the plane is departing in 1 hour. They better get through that TSA line.
They did that TSA pre-check. I think after all they've been through with planes, I think global entry is like, here, you can have it. I think they should have been given that.
They need something even better than that. Like, they need that shit to be
Private
on
jet.
NASA too. They can get a fucking rocket ship if they want.
Well, they do have a one-way ticket to heaven, so there's that. I didn't think you were going to laugh at that one. I didn't think that was that funny.
After you're talking about how they're dead, and then you're like, one-way ticket? Plus, what are two-way tickets to heaven? Is that like when they resuscitate you?
That's they did not have a DNR, so they they were wrong.
Yeah, but like, what's a round trip ticket? So like, you died, they resuscitated you, and you came,
And they
and that
came
was your
back?
ticket back?
I think so. I think that
So, wait a
right.
minute. Do you know what I found out yesterday?
I'm afraid to ask.
So, years ago, um, my mother had an operation, and giving out all the information, but found out the hard way that she was allergic to latex.
Oh, shit.
So she was in ICU and all that. I didn't know until yesterday that she had to be resuscitated.
How long ago was the surgery? How old were you?
I'm trying to think if I even had kids yet. It was like either they were I don't think I had kids yet.
Okay, so this is about 20 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, she's okay, but I mean,
Obviously, yeah, but ho uh,
and me and it wasn't just me. My sister is sitting next to me like, "Wait, what?" And my aunt's like, "Yeah, you didn't know?
the doctors did
Does this look
okay,
like a fucking face that
face that
knew?"
knew?
The the two of our faces. Does it look like two faces that knew? And I was like, "But, like, what does that even mean? Like, CPR, paddles?" And she was like, "I don't know. The report just says resuscitate." My mother says, like,
Yeah, I can see your mother. I can honestly I'm picturing that right now. I see it in my head. Um, so
she's like, "I don't know." I feel like if that was me, I'd be like, "Oh my god, like, do I have 2 burn marks on my chest?" Like, how'd you do it? Because if it's CPR, aren't you, like I don't alright.
well, it
We're getting
depends
into
when
a
should
whole
it be
field I don't know.
resuscitated? Like, was she already cut open? It depends on when the resuscitation happened.
Oh, that's a good point. Because they
So if
can
she
use
was
those little spoon paddles.
if she's, like, in surgery, it's done a little bit differently. And then I don't know what the surgery. I don't know. No, that's going to not to go. It depends what was cut
Yeah.
open, where was cut open.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Um, and they probably would have found out relatively, probably doing surgery.
Well, that's what it was. Because she said it was after she was cut open that the latex inside her.
Yeah. Um,
But the thing is, like, I remember so after, right? At one point we're talking about this, and my mother was saying something about she goes about how she never knew that she was allergic to latex, and she turns to me and she goes, "Are you allergic to latex?" Because my sister doesn't really have allergies. It's just me and my mom. So she goes, "Are you allergic to latex?" And I'm sitting there like, and Alex turns around, he's like, "No." I'm like, "How do you know what I'm allergic to?" And he looks at me and he's like dumbass.
He's like, don't make me say this in front of your mother.
Like my mother was sitting right there.
He's like, don't make me say
I mean, I'm
this.
pretty sure she understood. Like,
But I think just actually saying it would have been embarrassing. Those words come. We didn't use sheepskin. Like
mm-mm. And I'm like, huh? Oh, okay, got it. No, I'm not allergic. My mother was like, fucking idiots. Oh, so no, I'm not allergic to latex.
just ask your husband.
I mean, I might be now, but but I
I mean, to
wasn't
be
then.
fair, to be fair, they don't use latex gloves or anything anymore in
Yeah,
doctor's
no.
offices. So, there's a good chance you may not know. You could be.
Jack catches up to Locke, and then they have karate on the cliff. Locke draws his knife on Jack. He stabs him in the abdomen, like where his appendix used to be, and cuts the skin of his neck. But Kate shoots him with that bullet that she saved. Thanks, Locke. Locke tells Jack that it's too late, and Jack responds by kicking him off the cliff.
It was very, and I don't know if you've seen. I think I've said it a few times to you. I used it in reference. 300,
Mm-hmm.
and then that at the beginning, the first scene, Xerxes' emissary came like, we're gonna take over pretty much Sparta, and he was rude to.
Those movies don't really interest me.
This was really good. It's historical,
I don't give a fuck.
and well, anyway, because Spartans was supposed to be very badass,
I'm
and
worried about
they.
the present.
I'd rather just deal with the history.
I
Well,
know
obviously,
enough about history to be scared of what's coming.
right. So,
I'm good right where I'm at. I don't need
and
more
then he
bullshit.
goes, "This is Sparta," as he
Yeah, I
kicks
know
him
the
off
line.
the cliff.
Oh,
Kicks him off the cliff. He's like, he just.
I mean, I know the
It's like,
line. I don't really know the scene.
well, you have to see the scene to get that because he does a Sparta kick. Like, oh, okay.
Sparta kick.
Everyone who's seen that movie, like, yeah, that was the best scene in the whole fucking movie.
I believe you.
We should, I should make you watch just that one scene.
Ugh.
Come on, Lisa. You know you want to.
We go to the flash sideways, and there's a nurse saying, "Nice work, Dr. Shephard," which I thought was brilliant. Off a cliff goes fake Locke, and then it's like, "Nice work, Dr. Shephard." This Locke is being rolled out of surgery, and Jack's neck is bleeding again. Don't worry, that handy dandy nurse is like, "Oh, Dr. Shephard." I bet Dr. Shephard. Locke wakes up way too soon and
Thank you.
tells Jack it worked. Locke remembers. He asked Jack, and even though Jack had a flash, Jack is so fucking stubborn that
Very
he's
much.
like, huh? Who? New brain, who this? No flash.
she said, "Me, who this? Who this?
I'm
Homie?"
dead. I don't remember. Locke is just smiling and reminds Jack because Jack is like, "I gotta go, I gotta take my son to a concert," and Locke is like, "You don't
You
have a
don't
son."
have a son.
He says, but he hopes someone does for him what he did for Locke.
He didn't mean the surgery.
Mm-mm.
In case you guys were curious, he meant like helping him, like the remembering, the acceptance. Because not so much as remembering, it's accepting.
In another part of the hospital, Sawyer arrives to Sun's room to ask questions, and they are both grinning like idiots. Like,
And speaking English.
I know, because well, when Juliet was in the room, and she's like, "Oh, it says that you don't speak English." And then after they
They start
remember,
remembering.
and Juliet is confusion, and she's like, For the record, your English is fine." But Sawyer's there, and obviously they now remember Sawyer. Sawyer doesn't know who the Fig Newton they are, but
Where'd you get that from?
you know who says it all the time? Lucia.
Oh, okay, they got it from me
No.
because I say it a lot too. Okay,
Oh.
fine.
No, you usually save the good words for me.
That's true. I use the bad words. And by bad words, I mean not the curses in public at work.
So Sawyer is like, "Oh, but I need to ask you questions. I need to keep you safe." And they're like, "We are safe." And they
Because
just
we're dead.
never stop smiling. Like, and Jin is like, "We'll see you there." Like, where, motherfucker?
I could totally like I could like in Sawyer's position, I'm like, what the fuck? They gave her some happy drugs or some shit. The fuck?
Even Ji Yun is like flying high in there.
To be fair, like the first season, before the once he learned English and he and Son reconnected in their relationship, he was a happy-go-lucky person. Like
Hmm.
he found his pre dealing with her father self again. So
Right.
he's genuinely a happy kid. I say kid because I'm 100 years old.
On the island, Frank is getting the plane working, and then the other group is realizing that killing Locke wasn't the reset they were looking for. But Jack still can't let go. He heads back to the waterfall, and Kate and Sawyer set off to the boat. Ben is willing to sink with the island, and Hurley says he's staying too. He's staying with Jack. In the flash sideways, Sawyer's still at the hospital. He passes Jack in the hallway, asks him about food, and is pointed towards a vending machine he soon assaults. Juliet appears and advises he should read it his rights. Its rights. Then she offers a trick. You unplug it and plug it in again. She says it worked, and she hands him the Apollo bar. And then they remember. I think that this, with the exception of Sun and Jin,
This is another one that was ugly
yeah,
crying. I was completely ugly crying. The snot coming down my nose.
hmm
I was a mess.
and it's such a mirror of their last scene together because it's like it worked. And remember, that's what Miles said that she was trying to save from the dead.
Yeah.
And as they remember, she's like, we go get coffee, and she's like, we can go Dutch, um, and then she's like, kiss me. And it's like they just. He's like, you got it, baby. They're just so cute together.
Just remind me of of another question I had.
Jack gets to the concert, except that it's over, and Kate shows up and informs him. Jack wants to know where he remembers her from. She mentions the plane and the pen, but also says, that's not how you know me. She touches his face, and she says she missed him so much. He starts to remember, but then Jack jacks and just can't let go again.
He has a problem with acceptance. He
Mhm.
always has.
On the island, Jack, Hurley, and Ben head back to the waterfall cavern, and Jack breaks the bad news to Hurley. Hurley will soon be the protector, And they do a quickie ceremony to make it official. Frank powers up the plane as Jack is lowered and also dropped. He sees Desmond and wakes him up, and he wraps him back up in the rope so that he could come back up. Kate and Sawyer find Claire, and they convince her to go with them to the plane, and parts of the main island are like literally just falling off. Frank starts to back that plane up as Kate and them run onto the runway. They let them on, and the plane takes off as the ground disintegrates below them. Meanwhile, Jack puts the big rock back in the hole, and things start turning back to normal. Hurley and Ben see the light back on, and they go to pull Jack up, but it's Desmond. In the flash sideways, we see Locke arrive at the church in his wheelchair. He greets Ben, who's sitting outside, and he says most everyone is inside. Ben apologizes to Locke for killing him, saying he was selfish and jealous, that Locke was special, and Locke forgives Ben. Ben says he's not ready to go in yet. He has some things to work out. He tells Locke that Locke doesn't need that wheelchair anymore, and Locke gets up and walks the rest of the way. On the island, Ben and Hurley are tending to Desmond, and they think he'll be okay, and Hurley acknowledges that Jack is now gone and he is now the protector. Ben says Hurley can run things how he wants, and he'll help Desmond get home. Hurley asks for Ben's help and makes him vice protector. Back at the church, Hurley comes out and says hi to Ben. They compliment each other on the number 1 and number 2 positions, and then Jack and Kate arrive. Jack says this is the church he was planning to have his father's funeral. Kate says she knows and that she's going inside, but that he can go in through the back and she'll be waiting once he's ready to leave. Jack goes in and finds his father's coffin, and he touches it. He sees more flashes. He opens it, but it's empty again. Then Christian appears again.
He's gonna shepherd them into the next. Okay, sorry, I'm just a little. I'm very emotional and touched, and everything kind of just makes sense.
Christian acknowledges that he died and turns the question on Jack. So Jack is like, but you died. How are you here? And Christian is like, actually, the question is, how are you here? He says, everyone dies sometime, kiddo. Some of them before you, some long after you. This is a place that you all made together so that you could find one another. The most important part of your life was the time that you spent with these people. He says that they created this place to remember and to let go. Jack heads inside and sees the old island gang. Meanwhile, on island, Jack wakes, like in the rocks, and he unsteadily makes his way through the bamboo forest for the last time. He comes to the same clearing where he woke and collapses. Vincent arrives, so Jack isn't alone. And in the church, Kate takes Jack's hand, and everyone takes a seat. Christian touches Jack's shoulder and walks to the front door. He opens them and lets the light in. On island, Jack sees the plane fly overhead and shuts his eye. In church, it fades to white.
This was a good. I don't know how anyone didn't like the show. Didn't like the ending. This ending wrapped up a lot of things and left things to the imagination. One of the things I had a question was, I'm sure there was someone else, but I know for a fact Penny was at the church. So I'm convinced they're all dead. This is the move on to the next life. How did Penny die? When did she die? Did she die while Desmond was on the island? And that's how she was able to pick him up from the freighter because she was already dead? That's one of the questions that I think we will never know. Or they didn't think we would even ask. But I did ask. Another question I had. Okay, I'm just gonna throw all the questions out there. Wait,
Okay, so you have your questions written down?
yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with trivia, and if we don't get to something that you're thinking, then you still have it.
Okay,
Alright. Because I feel like some of your questions may be answered.
okay. Wow, very ominous. Okay.
John Locke delivers the series' last line in greeting Jack in the Chapel. "We've been waiting for you."
Well, you could tell
Desmond,
me.
Penny, and Juliet are the
You're not
only
gonna tell me?
characters.
You're not gonna
We'll
tell
get
me?
there. We'll get there.
Oh, I'm about to say because you've been teasing me all 6 seasons.
I know there's nothing to wait for now, so
Right. Oh, unless you're gonna wait for, like, the series wrap up or something. Recap.
Desmond, Penny, and Juliet are the only characters in the church who were not on board Oceanic Flight 815. The final scene of Jack dying in the bamboo field mirrors the opening scene in the reverse.
Mm.
The plug in the heart has markings on it, the clearest of which is some cuneiform script. I don't know if I'm saying that right. A form of writing used for a very long time by different civilizations in the area that is now Iraq, notably Akkadian, Sumerian language groups c. 5000 to 1000 BC. I thought that was just interesting. The end credits of the episode. Did you watch the uncut one?
It was the same one that was just broken.
But I don't know if the end credits were on both of them. So the
I
at
didn't
the
watch the end
end
credits for either one, so
so at the end of the episode, after the episode ends and you see Lost, whatever, did you see the footage of the wreckage on the beach?
I think so, yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
the end credits of the episode ran alongside images of what appeared to be the wreckage of Oceanic Flight 815 with no living people present. These were not part of the episode. ABC have confirmed that they were added as a soft, nostalgic transition between the ending of Lost and the next show. However, the images remained in the credits for the DVD and Blu-ray releases. This did not mean that the survivors died in the initial plane crash or have been dead all along.
He said
It
it doesn't mean it wasn't either.
it only meant to remind the viewers of the beginning. The end aired just 5 days after the previous episode, What They Died For. This is the second shortest time between airings after Because You Left and The Lie, which appeared back to back on the same night. The decision to air the series finale on Sunday, the 23rd of May, instead of in its usual Tuesday's time slot, was most likely done to allow the show to conclude on a date that corresponded with one of the numbers, 23, which was Jack's candidate number.
That's cute.
Henry Ian Cusick put a rock in his shoe for every scene where he needed to walk with a limp.
That's cute.
hmm The scene in which the man in black stabs Jack on the cliffs involved swapping out a real knife for a collapsible one. During one take, the swap was not made properly, and Matthew Fox was stabbed by the real knife, which was fortunately stopped by a Kevlar pad that Fox wore under his shirt. Matthew Fox tried out various protection pads for that scene, and it just so happened that when the accident happened, he was wearing the Kevlar pad, the others of which were not stab proof. It was even suggested that he not bother using a pad at all before the incident happened. Could you imagine? Like,
Okay, so situations like that, that just like, uh, obviously someone made a mistake,
oh yeah,
but it's like shit happens. Nothing's malicious. Nothing is, it's just like, oh fuck. Can you imagine how many incidents were near misses Oh, or not near misses, like, before the whole, what happened with Rust? With the Baldwin, the shooting,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then I'm like, and I'm not gonna be honestly, I didn't follow it into his details, like, I don't know, what happened. I don't know
Mhm.
the nuances to it, but then with Brandon Lee,
Yeah.
did that was just, an accident, an unfortunate accident. No one was held acc like, can you imagine how many near misses so many. Because
Right.
guess what? We're human. Not everything is
Yeah,
malicious, not
I know, it
every
just sucks, like, because a mistake is like, "Oops, you're dead," not, "Oops, I
No,
got
I'm
you
not saying
Skittles
that it's not
instead of"
anyone's fault. Right.
no, no, I know, it's just that it sucks because the accident, it's a mistake, but, like, the consequences are
But these are
huge.
so huge because it's kinda like, I don't know, it's just amazing. It's just like both could be true.
Mhm.
There needs to be consequences, but, like, but to what extent? But then someone's dead. But it's I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It makes me sad to think about that. Okay, go on with the trivia because I need questions answered, and I need you to continue gaslighting me.
The penultimate scene with Jack and Christian in the back room of the church was withheld from some copies of the shooting scripts. When the scene was filmed, the set operated with a high level of security and was off limits to everyone except Matthew Fox, John Terry, and a few select members of the crew. Even other cast members were not allowed near the set when the scene was taking place. When filming the scene, several decoys were created by the production staff. Extra Santa Rosa vans were added in the parking lot. The scene was referred to in documents as Sun and Jin's wedding, and a woman who resembled Sun walked around in a wedding dress.
They were keeping this under wraps.
Yeah. Jorge Garcia revealed in an interview that when Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse appeared on The Late Show with David Letterman to host the nightly top 10 list a few days before the end aired, one of the top 10 spoilers for the Lost finale was shockingly true. The spoiler, written for Damon and Carlton to read, was Jack dies. This left them in a precarious position, not wanting to spoil the fans and not wanting to admit to the Letterman production that Jack really does die. They eventually got out of it by telling the Letterman team that the Lost fans would not take things like Jack dying lightly, even as a joke, and had it written out of the top 10 without anyone knowing it
Genius.
was true.
Oh my god, that's genius.
Mhm.
And I know I took it fine because 'cause they're already
Well,
dead. Honestly, like, let's be real. All of them already dead.
so there were some scenes that were cut out. There was a few, but I'm not gonna read all of them, I'm just gonna read a few that I thought were interesting. Miles' scene in the outrigger was originally planned as more dramatic. He would have reacted tearfully upon hearing the last thoughts of all the sub's victims, including Saeed, Sun, and Jin.
Um,
Jack and Sawyer were to have talked at greater length about Jack's plan for Desmond, Jack emphasizing that though Widmore brought Desmond to the island, Jacob brought Widmore. Which I never really thought about like that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that uh Desmond is the failsafe, Desmond is the key, but Jacob is the one who brought Widmore. And Widmore is the one who, you know what I mean? So like,
yeah, I'm just thinking about a whole
if you
bunch of
assume
things.
that Jacob is all knowing,
Yeah,
that's all.
and then honestly, I'm more confusion. Like, as we're talking, other thoughts are coming in my head, like, "Well, what about this?" And I think that's the whole point of way they ended things, just to fuck with us a little bit. I don't like I said, not everything was meant to be wrapped up in a bow.
When Jack is walking through the bamboo at the end, he passes the same white sneaker that he passes in the first episode, except obviously now it's not brand new.
It's a
Oh,
couple of
well,
years
his
old.
father's sneaker. Hmm. Terry O'Quinn, who is the Locke or the Man in Black, becomes the fifth and last cast member to appear in 100 episodes. The others are Matthew Fox, Evangeline Lilly, Jorge Garcia, and Josh Holloway. Echo, Nikki, and Paolo are the only main characters never to make an appearance after departing the series.
And I miss Echo. I loved Echo.
Well, he was offered a guest spot in this episode, but negotiation failed as it is claimed that he asked for a fee 5 times what he was offered. I wasn't there.
Everyone says 5 times, but it depends what he was offered. He might have been, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Here's $1. Can I get 5? Shit. You know what I mean? I'm glad Boone and Shannon would popped up. It was a really good episode.
Out of all the main characters, 14 are still alive at the end of the series.
Alive.
Hurley, Kate, Sawyer, Claire, Walt, Ben, Desmond, Miles, Richard, Frank, Rose, Bernard, Eloise, and Penelope. Out of the Oceanic A15 survivors, 7 are still alive at the end of the series. Kate, Sawyer, Hurley, Claire, Walt, Rose, and Bernard. Rose and Bernard are the only main characters to survive the entire series without ever leaving the island. The Man in Black is the only main character who has never been off the island. And Penny is the only main character who never spent time on the island.
But still, my question still means the same.
No revelations, nothing?
No, and okay. I feel stupid. I really feel like I should grasp something by now.
At the end of the series, Jack and the Man in Black die. When Jacob picks Jack to be the protector, well, it's not even picks him really, right? When Jacob is looking for somebody, he says, I'm going to give you what I never had, a choice. And Jack chooses to become the protector. But then when Jack sacrifices himself, he picks Hurley, and Hurley is now the protector and doesn't have a choice. Hurley and Ben have this cute little partnership going on at the end of the episode to protect the island. When Jack hands over the protectorship to Hurley, he says, it was always meant to be you, which mirrors what Jacob's mother told Jacob after his brother dug into the island to find the heart. In this episode, the main timeline, Kate says to Jack, nothing is irreversible. In the flash sideways, Jack says, that's a lock. Not this episode, but, in a previous episode, nothing is irreversible.
Well, not exactly true.
Christian tells Jack the flash sideways world was created in order to remember and let go. Anything?
That was that's, for my lack of a better term, their period to accept whether,
The series ends with the core group of characters finding one another in a place they all made together. So they have, for the first time in the story, truly found their place and as such are no longer lost.
It still makes sense to me that they're dead. And they all went to heaven because they accepted that they were dead.
The Flash Sideways timeline is revealed to be the place created by most of the characters to find each other after death before moving on.
Thank God I was right.
But you weren't.
No, they found themselves. That's not like I said exactly.
I mean, you were and you weren't.
I said the words differently. It's the same shit. Okay, say it again.
When they landed on the island, they were alive. Everything that happened on the island, they were alive.
What about, I have another question. When they
died,
Oh,
Is
oh,
irrelevant.
so when they died, they eventually found this place
That's the
whenever they
flash
died.
sideways, which is why Christian tells him there's no now here.
So I get okay, so the point
So you got it halfway right.
okay, so the funny thing is, the ironic part is when I said earlier in this episode, I'm like, there's no sense of time.
Mhm.
I was kind of, and I didn't even realize what I was
In the
saying.
flash sideways, yes.
Right. I was like, what the fuck? Okay, so got you. Ah, so the island really was real.
Yes.
So them going
Everything
back
that
and forth
happened, happened.
actually happened. The time shift and
The
everything
forward, the back,
that
the
all
island.
actually happened.
The sideways did not.
The sideways was after
The
they've already
sideways
died. Whenever they died, this is where they
basically,
found themselves in the waiting room, whatever this is.
it's supposed to be like Jack, this flash sideways came to be.
No, it makes sense now.
Okay. Like
It
as
makes
Jack
sense.
died, which is also why at the very end, as Jack is dying in the bamboo, the church scene, do you know it starts to fade?
Yes.
And it
Because there's
matches up with
no
him
it was no longer needed because he's already there with them.
because that's the end,
That's the
right?
end.
That's the end.
And he was the last one. I don't was
Well,
he wasn't the last one to die, but he was the last one to accept where he was at.
yes.
Because he obviously because they actually did fly. Because I have
Because
so
even
many questions. I have
because
so many
remember Christian tells him some before you and some
some
long after
after
you.
you. I just didn't make sense.
There's
Oh,
no now here.
I love okay, can I say something right now? I love it even more. And
Nice,
I love
darling.
you don't bel I love the end that much, not the show, the end.
She's like, I'm happy it's over.
No, I like the ending was amazing.
Desmond is the only one, though, that is aware of this on the island. Remember, Desmond mentions it. We can all go to after we leave here, we can go to a place where you can be with your loved ones. Desmond had that consciousness that went between the
So
timelines.
with timelines, right. I feel so much
So,
better now because
and
it was
even though he wasn't on the flight, I guess he was there because he played such a pivotal role in that time.
so everything actually happened. I felt
Yes.
because honestly, because a lot of the stuff wasn't clicking for me. And I was like, but what if this? And I think eventually, if I had like another hour, like things was kind of like as you're speaking, you see me like, I don't know, when you go back to do the edit, you see me like kind of like days off.
Uh-huh.
I was actually thinking and things were slowly clicking, but they still weren't fitting right. I think I would have gotten it eventually.
The only thing that I wish, because the revelation comes at the very, very, very end of the episode. There's only a few minutes left. I don't think the bulk of the audience needs a lot more, but I feel like I would have been happy with maybe another minute or two devoted to it because I think that it's easy once you understand it, but it's not just that clear.
I listen, if it wasn't for this, for you right now telling me that it would have taken me way too long to figure it out. Honestly, if I wasn't doing this, like if I was just a regular watcher doing, I would have given up trying to figure out like, oh, that was a good one and moved on my life. I never would try to
Yeah.
work out the details. I think they should have I like the
That's why I said only like maybe another minute or two
something
because
to like a flashing of something. It didn't have to be like solid, just like flashes and this, you're like,
just a
oh.
little bit more.
I think
Yeah.
that was definitely needed because I wouldn't have even one, I don't think I would have given it the time. I think like I said, I was happy with it. I was happy with it, and maybe I would have tried to clicked it in a little bit, but eventually I would have just given up. I would have went on with my life. So, but yeah, I Yeah, okay, okay, alright. Alright.
The man in black being kicked off the cliff by Jack mirrors Locke being thrown out of the window by Anthony Cooper.
Ah,
Jack and Locke had once joked about the possibility of Locke falling off a cliff after Locke saved Jack from falling off one and lied about Boone falling off another.
what is yeah,
Kicking the body is reminiscent of the way the man in black kicked Jacob into the fire. Upon Charlie's return, Kate gives him thanks, to which he replies, "They're only blankets." However, Kate does this having regained the full memory of her past life on the island. She's actually thanking Charlie for his sacrifice in the looking glass, which allowed her and 5 of her fellow survivors to contact the Kahana and leave the island. Christian's final conversation with Jack about all things being real is very similar to the speech Libby gave to Hurley when they were on the cliff. Jack dies with the stab wound in the right side of his abdomen, mirroring the wounds he had on the left side when he woke after the crash. And the first episode of the series begins with Jack opening his eyes and Vincent running out to greet him in the bamboo forest, the bamboo grove with Christian's white tennis shoe nearby. And the final scene is him returning to the same location, closing his eyes, and Vincent lies down beside him.
okay, one, I feel better knowing that Vince is actually alive.
You don't deserve dogs.
I have a question though about the island. Is that to be answered? What the fuck is it with the island that everyone's better? That never got
Those
answered.
electromagnetic properties, I guess.
Okay, like okay, the EMPs helped with Locke being able to walk. Rose's cancer. There's just certain
I
things
mean,
that
listen, there's a guy who can't age. There's like all this
all this
mysterious
other
shit,
stuff.
and you're worried about somebody who could walk now?
And Rose not dying. That's happiness. I kind of want
Yeah.
to know. I want to know the happiness.
And a smoke monster, but why can't he walk? I don't know.
And the polar bears.
And the polar
And
bears.
there's a lot that didn't. Okay, polar bears. The like the bones of the polar bears in Iraq. They're just sort of things you're like, wait, what? That never got answered. But and I don't really don't care. They don't need to be answered. I don't
So
really care enough
okay,
about it. I don't care enough.
you had thought in the last episode, you thought that the sideways.
You want me to remember that?
No, I'm
Okay.
gonna tell you.
Okay, good.
You thought that the sideways was either heaven or purgatory. And so in a way you were right. Because it's
A waiting room or
purgatory
something.
adjacent.
Yeah, I didn't know. I couldn't like. I think this episode I said the word I was actually looking for, a waiting room. Like it
Mhm.
was like, yeah.
And you said that Jack was paralleling like the submarine in regards to his wounds, but
I
he
said
was
that.
actually, but the thing is that he was mirroring things that hadn't happened yet because they happened in the last episode. The neck wound and the,
Oh, they happen the next episode, and that's what I know. Okay, I know it's injuries. I just thought maybe
yeah.
I just thought I missed the injury. I'm like, maybe that's where it happened, but it was the next episode, and that's why I didn't catch it. But I knew he was mirroring. I just thought he was
Mhm.
missing. I'm like, oh, I must have missed it because I do watch with half an eye and half an ear. So I'm like, oh, okay. I was just ahead of the game. So how they do, Mom?
I feel like it's so weird because I mean, this has been such a journey for us, but
Oh my
also
God. I
it's
feel
like
like
on one hand, it's like, oh my God, we've completed it. But on the other hand, it's like, but oh my God, like, oh my God.
it only took us 5 years to do it.
Well, shut up.
When did we okay, when did the first episode of our Sass and Sips air?
December 2019.
And right now we're recording December 2024.
Yeah. In fairness, we've taken breaks and stuff.
Okay, so I came back summer of 2023. A year and a half to do what? 4 seasons? No, 3 seasons. No,
Three.
3 seasons. A year and a half to do 3
Mm-hmm.
seasons. I'm sorry, Lisa. We would have been way done with this.
That's okay. You're here now.
Aren't you lucky?
I just,
He's like, no, no, I'm not. I feel like it's giving. We gave birth to a child.
I know, and it's like beginning to walk and talk and shit.
I know it's a little. It's emotional.
So overall, how would you describe like the series?
Overall, it's not bad. I honestly, I never would have made it through the first season because I was just like, okay, you guys, yeah, yeah, they would have lost me as a viewer. I'm like, I don't have time for this. Um, like I said, took like 3 seasons at least. No, no, by season 3, I still hated it. Middle
Yeah, I
four,
was
I'm
gonna
like,
say, I think it was
okay.
like 4.
By the middle four, I'm like, all right, I
I
don't
think
hate.
it wasn't until the last episode of season 3 that you were like, wait a minute,
I want
what's
to see the next one
this?
now. Right. I was
Yeah.
like, wait, um,
We have to go back. What?
um,
Hold the phone.
so it took, yeah, I just like, as I, I still don't like watching it from beginning to end. And I appreciate the end. I'm glad I did start to like it. The end was the best, it's one of the best series finales I've watched. And I'm a professional TV watcher. Um, I never would have made it like as it was like doing the original airing. I wouldn't have made it past the first couple episodes because it's just too slow. It was
Mhm.
too much happening, not enough happening. I was just like, yeah, we ain't got time for that.
There were a lot of little things happening, not a lot of big things happening.
And then none of it made sense. And I was like, what? I still think they were on all the drugs and they were throwing everything against the wall, whatever stuck. Lord have mercy. And I think after the writer's strike, it got better. I think that's what if I remember
So
correctly.
overall worth it. Overall, they weren't dead the whole time.
I'm so glad I'm that means Walt actually made it. I'm just really happy about everything.
But seeing as how they weren't dead the whole time, then it goes right back to your criticism of Sun for leaving her kid.
Okay, so first I was like, oh, so why are they not? I was like, okay, so she never existed. So now I'm back to being upset about leaving your kid. I'm sorry. I can't. First I was like, oh, I'm not mad because they never existed because they're dead. Now I'm like, oh no, you weren't dead. Now I'm
So only
pissed.
Jack's kid never existed.
Yeah. I just like
And and then in regards to the whole thing about Aaron being a baby,
that's how they remembered him, I guess.
I think that that's what it was.
Yes.
That's just how
That makes
Jack
sense.
remembered him.
Yes.
Because
So
I don't know this for sure, but I just feel like this is all being seen from Jack's
Jack's
perspective.
eyes.
Yeah.
Same.
Okay.
Same. I concur.
Any other questions? Any
Right now,
questions?
raise your hands.
Oh,
No,
sorry. You don't know about okay. You don't
I
know about David S. Pumpkins. See? She's like this stupid bitch. I can't. Anyway.
they can see. They can see. We're going. Remember, they
Yeah,
can see
yeah.
my face.
Yeah.
I'm like that most of the time. When no, but I'm pretty sure when we do our special um
Mm-hmm.
episode, our
Mm-hmm.
special episode, I'll probably have some more things
Okay. I'm gonna bring up the list of the shit that you've said.
over the years. I'm so excited. Oh my god, so excited.
Now that I can like read other stuff to
I'm
you
so fucking excited. Cause
and
say
bring
how many
shit
times
back.
I was wrong and how many times I was right. And do I get
A
a
lot.
prize?
My friendship.
Um
She's like, I want a refund.
no, I've already resubscribed you for next year for our friendship. So that was a given. Ashley takes it to the head. That's my bitch.
There's none left.
I know. I don't know how I only drink one glass.
Yeah, I
Wait,
don't know how you only drink one glass
you
either.
know my favorite part of when I put fruit, like frozen fruit in my drinks? The one, it keeps it cold without watering it down. But like, especially if it's bubbly, it just like rises to the top.
Mm-hmm.
So watching it, it's just kind of cool. So yes, put frozen fruit into your drinks. You can keep it chilled without watering it down, people. Um, What was I saying before you took
I
it to
don't
the
even
head?
know.
Oh yeah, you've already been resubscribed for a friendship for next year. So
Oh, thank you.
that was a non-negotiable. So I don't any like what's something I need a prize for suffering through this.
I don't know.
You're gonna hate me when you do the edits. I need that. Ah!
I know.
When you do the edits, especially the video edits, you're like this bitch. I'm telling you right now.
It'll be fine. Anyway,
Not when you see what I was doing throughout.
like I said, we have one more episode, and that's gonna be a new one for me too. It's the new man in charge. So it's like an epilogue, but it wasn't network TV. So that'll be interesting because we'll get to both be watching for the first time. So the interpretation will be good. And then new series.
Can we talk about what's happening between the next big season?
Sure.
So
And a Patreon giveaway.
we have a Patreon giveaway
Yes,
happening.
and the link is in the show notes.
So excited
So
about
if you use
that.
the link, you get a 3-month subscription for free. And
Free 99.
yes, and Patreon will give you access to just a few extras, and the episodes come out a little bit earlier. So yeah, go do that.
Woohoo, go do it now. We're also going to have a mini season in between our next season. We're going to watch a one season show. Some of you have seen it, some of you haven't seen it. Listen for more. We also, the next big season is my pick.
I'm looking forward to doing the one season series though, because as you and I have teased before, even like in here and in our subscription series, like the reality TV, we wonder if sometimes because you and I usually have similar perceptions, and so then sometimes
It's
when
colored by someone seeing it and not
right,
seeing it.
so we're kind of interested in seeing how our thoughts match up when we both haven't seen.
Or both have seen it, or whatever the case may be. Like we're both
Yeah.
going in on the same level. We're going to
So
see
the
how in
next, yeah,
tune we are.
yeah. So the next one is just going to be a quickie, and we both haven't seen it.
Quickies are good.
Quickies are good.
Fucking amazing. Sometimes that's all you need.
You can fit a bunch of them.
A morning quickie, a
just
mid-morning
saying.
quickie, a lunch quickie, yeah, snack quick. Yeah, quickie. I need to get into a relationship. I need a
I'm so done right now.
I'm nowhere near done.
I have pasteles downstairs waiting for me. I gotta go.
I hate you.
That's why I said it. And rice.
Okay, just so you guys know, I won't be seeing you guys on next season because I can't. I can't get pateles over here in the Midwest. I mean, I can drive. Like, honestly, there are Puerto Rican restaurants in Chicago. But do I want to drive an hour and a half for food and eat by myself? No, I don't want to do that. Do I want to drive an hour and a half there, get the food, drive an hour and a half back home? No, I don't want to do that either.
Yeah. Sorry.
Goodbye, Lisa. That's why I'm glad I left you things to edit out the video.
What's your elbow?
What'd that tongue do?
So we remind you to not drink and drive. We thank you for being here with us for this journey. We urge you to take advantage of the Patreon link in the notes. And
click.
Until next time, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Agnes.
And we are out of here.
See you later. Bye.